Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. Today, let me tell you a story about a bank in the US called Wells Fargo. But first, meet John Stump. He was the former CEO of Wells Fargo, and his all-time favorite mantra is 8 is great. Right now, you might be wondering, what does 8 is great even means? Well, you will figure it out after watching our presentation. Now let us look at some newspaper clips. Wells Fargo to pay $3 billion over fake account scandal. Customers overcharge. Fraudulent sales practices. Fake account scandal. More fake account scandal. Even more scandals. Well, what it is with Wells Fargo? Dear doctor and classmates, welcome to Wells Fargo's case study. This presentation analyzed the Wells Fargo account fraud scandal, which came to the forefront of the public eye in September 2016. It is one of the biggest scandals of the financial world, in which millions of unauthorized bank accounts had been created by Wells Fargo employees, just to achieve unrealistic sales targets set by the senior management. Wells Fargo was in a big trouble. Their unethical practices in accounting have been exposed. According to the reports, these activities had been going on between the year 2011 and 2016. Before we go deeper into the details of the scandalous case, let me first introduce you to the team of 5 from Group 3. In sequential order, here come the speakers. Meet Taufik, who will be doing introduction and background, followed by Siming to elaborate more on the frauds. Then, Imadina will show you the fraud triangle and the unethical practices, followed by Chu, who will tell you about the consequences. Last but not least, our presentation will be closed by Saifu. Fraud triangle. First of all, let's look at the idea behind the first leg of the fraud triangle. Motivation or pressure. What motivates or pressures the offender to commit a fraud? Secondly, opportunity. This second aspect that leads to the action of committing the fraud and possibility to avoid getting caught. And lastly, to complete the perfect triangle is rationalization. The offender that commits the fraud need to rationalize their decisions to convince themselves or maybe others that it is an acceptable action. Let's take a look at the drives behind the Wells Fargo account fraud scandal. The authority was given to local managers to reach sales targets and put intense pressure to the subordinates to reach their targets. Employees that are pressured had to adopt fraudulent practices to receive rewards. Vice versa, those who did not meet the target are threatened to be fired. The frauds practiced are as a result from the company's sales program created by the former CEO John Stump. Remember the very first slide, the mantra 8 is great? Well, it simply means each employee is to open at least 8 new customer accounts each day. Stump's program had set a very strict sales goals for Wells Fargo employees. Motivation for him because a portion of his bonus was tied to the number of customer accounts, but it is a pressure for the employees. What a perfect start for a fraud triangle. Then there's opportunity. No approval required to open new customer account, and then unaware customers because of lacking the knowledge to know their rights. And complaints can be ignored because there's no governance of it. The third aspect of the fraud triangle would be the company's culture, because everyone is doing it, and if you are in this situation, you would probably do the same thing. The then CEO, claimed that he did not know anything about this. And then, satisfaction of looking at the profits, satisfaction of looking at the paper figure profits. And eventually, the company's price share had increased. Unethical practices. Well, what a long list. At the top of it, abusing employees. Not only that, as already mentioned in the previous slides, creating fraudulent accounts and cross-selling spree and charging unnecessary fees. There were tons of reports and complaints from customers and the employees themselves. However, all those efforts went down the drain. Wells Fargo just turned a blind eye to it. And the worst part is exploiting the U5 form. For information, U5 form is actually a bank record information about former employees. Wells Fargo ensured that employees who report their activities will have negative feedback recorded in their U5 form. Negative feedback in the U5 form equal to former employee will have difficulties regaining employment in the banking industry in the future. From this list, you can see 5. However, these are only the major ones, and this list is not exhaustive. Wells. There are many more, countless of such behaviors, and the worst part of it, the customers had no idea. There are so many ways to breach a trust.
Hi, now I will present an introduction of Wells Fargo account fraud scandal. In 1852, to support the West, Henry Wells and William Fargo formed Wells Fargo and Corporation, and its corporate symbol is the Overland Stagecoach Great Adventure. Wells Fargo and Company is an international multinational financial service corporation based in San Francisco, California. It is the fourth highest market capitalization bank in the country and the fourth largest fixed wealth firm in the US. Through the gross sales, Wells Fargo is listed number 26 in the Fortune 500 list among the biggest US companies in 2018. Wells Fargo was the world's largest bank by market capitalization in July 2015 at Japan's Industrial and Commercial Bank of China (ICBC), before falling behind JP Morgan in September 2016. After a scandal involving the creation of over 2 million fake bank accounts and illegal manipulation of other accounts by Wells Fargo employees, Wells Fargo dropped to third by retail deposit in 2017 behind Bank of America, and to fourth by net asset in 2018 behind Citigroup. The Wells Fargo account fraud scandal is an ongoing controversy over the creation of millions of fraudulent savings and checking accounts on behalf of clients of Wells Fargo without their consent. The news of fraud became widely known at the end of 2016, when various regulatory bodies, including the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau (CFPB), fined $185 million to the company as a result of illegal activity. The company has faced time and faced additional civil and criminal suits to reach an estimated $2.7 billion by the end of 2018. Wells Fargo customers began to notice the fraud after bank charged unanticipated fees and receiving unexpected credit or debit cards and credit lines. Initial report blamed individual Wells Fargo branch employees and managers for the issues, as well as sales incentives associated with the selling of multiple solutions or financial products. This blame later shifted to the top-down pressure from higher-level management to open as many accounts as possible through cross-selling. This company was revealed by employee report and customer complaint. Thank you.
Now, let us talk about the issues that happening in banks in 2016. So for this, the first problem is opening the fake accounts. According to the research, we found that the bank has involved in two issues, which was opening the fake accounts and cross-selling the credit cards to their customers. So normally, the employees will require opening at least 8 accounts for each customer. Due to these situations, the employees of the banks were trying to achieve this kind of unrealistic target with the wrong way. From this issue, we need to know how the banker to complete this kind of unethical openings bank accounts process. The bank always practice and focus on one thing, which is picnic. Picnic means that the bankers was easily to get the debit card numbers of client and personally send the PIN number towards another phone device without the client's permissions. This practice made the bankers was easy to enroll the existing client in online banking. From this viewpoint, we may wonder how the banker bypassed the computer security system that require the client personal information. Therefore, to make this fake account successfully, the bankers have impersonate the clients online and input the wrong email address to make sure this kind of transaction was complete under the customer unrealized situations. Therefore, since the bankers have a fake customer's detailed information, it makes sure that the process to create the fake accounts easily. So, for example, 1.5 million of fake deposit account has been created. After these fake accounts was completed to register, to make sure that those deposit accounts were actively, the bankers were trying to be stimulate funding or transferring the funds from consumer existing accounts without their knowledge and consent. Due to these situations, the extra fees such as the bank charge was incurred by the client. They are having an 85,000 of existing account incurred around 2 million in fees to the existing customer without any reason. So you can see how terrible of this to make the client to incur a huge amount of money towards the bank. So the next one is cross-selling service. Based on the CEO John's mentioning, he assumed that the cross-selling service was an evidence that good relationship between the bank and the customer. Besides that, he also assumed that this service was one relationship to make their client more loyalty to the bank, especially they are opening in various types of accounts. Company was considered that this cross-selling service was one effective way to push the sales. Therefore, the bankers was trying to start the unethical way in this kind of service. So, due to this situation, the bankers also unauthorized to use the existing client information to apply the credit card, such as touching the customer signature to make sure that those register process smoothly without any issue. According to our research, it is showing that they have 565,000 credit cards accounts were created, and subsequently make those 40,000 existing accounts incurred about 400,000 in fees to the bank. So actually, we can see how the frontline employees to conduct the unethical way to make the problem happen. So by the way, we also need to the backline, how the backline assists the frontlines to make this kind of problem happening. So therefore, the backline we will more concern on accounting department. Accounting departments may conduct the wrong bookkeeping practice. For example, the bank charge will record as a revenue in current asset rather than the revenue received in advance recorded in current liability. So due to this situation, the current revenue income was higher compared to previous year by years based on the horizontal analysis. From this viewpoint, we can assume that the bank may use the cash basis rather than the accrual basis in their revenues calculations and reporting part. So I think this one may not suitable for the banks to conduct this kind of accounting model because since it is a listed company, they gain the money from the public. So it was listing in American stock exchange. So the company must use the accrual basis rather than cash basis. So as a result, from those two unethical issues, according to the research, the bank has earned 2.4 million of fees income from openings 2.1 million of fake deposits and credit card accounts. So this another way, Another means the average of one Fed account contribute a fixed income was $1.14. So now I will pass to Ingmar to explain another things for you all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chiu. I would like to presentation the part of the consequence. Consequence can be solved by the two parts. They are before and after Fargo exposure scandal issue for open bank account. Before scandal issue was exposure, the customer forced to pay the extra fee to the bank. After scandal issue, Fargo forced to pay the fine and legal costs and dismissal related employee and CEO decided to claim down the file issue. Besides, the US Federal Reserve Bank uses three major implement to Fargo and catch the turnover supply. Now, I explain for the future consequence by the part of customer. Customer forced to pay the extra fee to the bank due to insufficient funds or overdraft in their own account because bankers transfer funds from customer original account to unauthorized new account without customer knowledge. Besides, banker apply credit card to the customer without them know. It takes customer forced to pay the annual credit card fee interest. After scandal, Fargo for open bank account were exposed. Fargo was forced to pay the fine $185 million to this institution. They are Consumer Financial Protection Agency $100 million, US officer of the Controller of the Currency $35 million, and Los Angeles County and City of Los Angeles $50 million. Fargo also paid the legal cost for $700 million related to the bank fraud scandal. Fargo has dismissed 5,300 employees were related to this scandal of a bank account issue and issue credit card without customer knowledge. U.S. House of Representatives Financial Service Committee need Johnstown to take responsibility to under criminal investigator and resign their CEO position and return their profit. In the same year, 2016, Johnstown resigned their CEO position. The federal U.S. was subsequently imposed litigation on the goal of the bank asset to avoid and control Fargo achieve higher profit with immoral way to take the mortgage preparer bill by 24%. It has the underperforming Fargo are most other bank competitors and their share price dropped by 10% from the period Fargo will order to pay $185 million fine for creating deposit and credit card account without customer knowledge. The scandal has affected over of Fargo. It has the current account opening bill by 25%, and customers they no go to Fargo to do business. In the end, former Fargo CEO Johnstown to pay $70.5 million to settle charge paid from the industry.
Hi everyone, as for closing, I would like to bring you to the lesson learned from this fraud scandal and also tell you what Wells Fargo plan ahead to get back to the business. One of the biggest banks in the US, Wells Fargo, made one of the biggest mistakes in the recent banking history by pressuring their staff to grow the number of customer accounts by nearly any means necessary. This would put up causing some major ethical and legal lines that create a scandal that hurt the bank in more ways than one. There is nothing particular special about Wells Fargo that made it a breeding ground for the steady practice. In the competition for the customer, all banks face continuing pressure to prove their success to shareholders and grow the business. Wells Fargo may have had an audacity to push the envelope into shadows territory, but in the theory, this could have happened anyway. So, what we can learn from their mistake? First, don't sacrifice quality over at the expense of quantity. Wells Fargo was driven to this practice by a hunger for more. More customer, more account, more source of revenue from fee associated with said account, more impressive number to show to shareholder. Obsessing over the number is not the only way to grow business. Ideally, customers choose you and stay with you because the quality you provide. When a bank constantly strives to improve the quality of its customer experience, is everyone win. Second, don't assume customer can tolerate anything. Well, Fargo is the one of the oldest, most recognized name in the bank. Once a business is there established and secure, it's easy to fall into the trap of assuming that customer will tolerate misbehavior like aggressive sales tactic or public scandal. Switching bank isn't easy, especially once a customer has multiple accounts and assets tied up with one institution. Maybe Wells Fargo assumed that potential risk of angering or losing customer was too low to worry about. That's dangerous assumption to make. It's safer to assume that customers are always watching and waiting for you to give them an excuse to switch to a competitor. That don't gamble with regulatory compliance. That is simple too much at stake to risk whistling your way through the maze of financial regulation or playing in the gray area. Fines, lawsuits, and brand reputation scandal are nothing to trifle with. Wells Fargo will likely survive this crisis, but they have a long uphill ahead to recover from damage to their brand bank. Need to hold themselves accountable for compliance before regulator or customer force them to do so. Listen to the voice of the customer, build an internal culture to support customer experience quality, and stay on the regulatory straight and narrow. Recently, Wells Fargo has been on a journey to rebuild trust and build a better Wells Fargo, including examining every aspect of their company by looking at what was working and what wasn't. The vision and value was the one of the many things to consider. Their vision, new board of director vision, CEO Tim Solon introduced the vision, value, and goal of Wells Fargo as the principle that guide them to work every day to build the best Wells Fargo as possible. The vision of helping customers financially, which is unite them as one Wells Fargo. The 5 value which articulate most important to them, which is what's right for customer, people as competitive advantage, ethic, leadership, diversity, and inclusion. Using 6 aspirational goal for the future of Wells Fargo, which is by becoming the financial service leader in the customer service and advice, team member engagement, innovation, risk management, corporate citizenship, and shareholder value. Wells Fargo corporate culture was promised on circling the wagon and manner respond with defensive denial. Almost a grouping of delusion. A culture did not embrace report of wrongdoing but punish those who is concerned to continue with a culture promised on misunderstanding and paranoid strategy of prevention. Building a new culture can only be done with commitment of the board and senior management. To implement such a new approach, the board and senior management must empower and unleash independent and compliance function to follow through on their commitment. As part of their corporate culture change, Johnstown was stepped down in 2016. Then it was continued by Tim Salon to rebuild their reputation. After 2 years of apologies for customer abuse, Wells Fargo CEO Tim Salon also stepped down. Wells Fargo names Charlie Shaw from outsider as new CEO. This corporate culture change process will take years of hard work, acceptance, and commitment. Whether Wells Fargo can accomplish the task remains to be seen. As well, Fargo to moving forward, to gain back the customer trust. The new campaign links into company history and heritage as it acknowledge the past issue, communicate the extent of change made across the organization, and show how the company is recommitting to its customer and their satisfaction. The first component of re-establish is 1 minute commercial called the trust. It's the air nationwide and signal where Fargo intend in the bold way. The advertisement will run across print, digital, broadcast, and mobile channel. Re-establish means recommitting to their customer and team member, reaffirming support of their communities and reinventing how they serve their customer through every interaction in the new improved way. To end our presentation, I quote from the new CEO Charlie Shaw, which is the integrity is the most it's not community, it's the most rare and precious of personal attribute. This is core of the person and company reputation. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you.